Welcome everybody to the third episode of the XConnect Podcast. I'm with Dani Mendez. Today we're going to have a conversation with Dani. We're going to be talking about who she is as a person, where she's from, what she's doing at Exeter, exciting things like that. So you ready to start, Dani?
Go for it.
All right, so Dani, first of all, I'd love to hear where you grew up and how that experience shaped you.
Yeah, so I'm actually from New Jersey, really close to New York. I spent a lot of time visiting the city and then also the Jersey Shore. So I had a pretty good balance of city life and beach life. It was super fun. I'm also from a pretty diverse community. So I grew up experiencing a lot of different cultures. So at my school, one thing that we would do is cultural performances. I performed dances or had dinners with people from different identities. It was a really good chance for me to learn new things. And I grew up eating a lot of different types of foods, dancing a lot of types of dances, listening to a lot of types of music. And I don't know, I had a really great time growing up. And I think that really set me up to be able to experience Exeter to the fullest, where I really am able to appreciate a lot of differences and diverse perspectives.
Do you think growing up in such a diverse place has opened your mind to not just different cultures, but maybe other aspects of your life, like being an open person, or what do you think about that?
I really just learned how to be with people that I didn't always understand or wasn't always familiar with. Growing up in such a diverse community set me up to be more open-minded and welcoming to different ideas. If I had grown up in a very sheltered area, seeing the same people all the time, I wouldn't have been as open to challenging perspectives. And so growing up with people that were different than me, people that had different beliefs than me, that really made me a lot more open to learning new things and accepting of people that were different. Ultimately, I made some of the best friends. People I met in elementary school, I'm still really close friends with. Mohammed, he and I have known each other since we were around 10. And we're still great friends. We're from very different backgrounds, but we came to Exeter together, and he's someone that I value a lot.
I can definitely see how that can translate to creativity or open-mindedness. Also a great way to connect with people that are very different, which is a very useful tool. So tell me, what's something about your childhood that maybe most people don't know? Like some people say, oh, I was super introverted and know them as a talkative person. I'd love to hear about that.
Wait, okay, this is funny. I don't tell people about it much, but I almost failed the first grade because I didn't speak very good English. I was a huge math kid as a kid. I loved math. It was super easy because it was all symbols and numbers. You figure it out. You can use your fingers to count. And simple addition, subtraction was super easy for me. But I was doing pretty bad with spelling tests, reading comprehension, and writing. English did not click for me as a kid. I had also a pretty intense accent when I was little. It took a lot for me to actually be able to speak it. But then around second grade, I was doing a lot better because I had a teacher who spent extra time making sure that I could read very well and that I could actually write things. A lot of people get offended or shocked when I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't read Harry Potter or I didn't read Percy Jackson. The age that these kids were reading these books, I was still learning English. So I would read books in English, but they weren't these novels that everyone else was super into. For me, it was just really trying to get the language down in the first place.
How do you think that early struggle shaped you later on?
Yeah, it was a pretty big challenge. A lot of my friends, we were all kind of in similar situations where we were still learning English. You go to school and you're learning how to communicate properly, but we also had the barrier of English not being our first language. So there was a lot of mutual respect for each other because we were all going through similar situations. I had this funny interaction where two of my friends were fighting in first grade, but I didn't know how to tell them to stop fighting because I didn't know the word for fighting. And so I made up a word. I don't know what I said, but they understood me and they stopped fighting. Ultimately, it taught me we have to push through miscommunication. It sounds silly, I was 7 years old, but it really stuck with me that there were times where I wanted something or I believed in something and nobody could get that. And I had to really push to make my voice heard and get people to listen to what I was trying to say. And obviously now I speak English and I can communicate with people just fine, but there's still gonna be moments where people might not understand what I'm trying to say or they might not really get where I'm coming from. So I think it just really taught me to keep pushing because at the end of the day, we just have to try our best to understand each other and respect each other on a human level.
Dani, who do you think your biggest influences were growing up?
Oh, okay, that's easy. My big sister. So my sister's name is Edna. We're 4 years apart. She's pretty much the complete opposite of me. She's very bold. I think I'm pretty extroverted, but I'm a little more serious. I came to boarding school. My sister stayed at public school at home. I've always been more academically driven, right? Really see school as important. It's great to be driven and focused on school, but there are times where I kind of wish I just remembered to have fun. That's where my sister comes into play. She's very carefree and loves to live her life. Whenever I'm home, she's always, trying to remind me that I'm a teenager still. So I'll think that we're all in the Exeter bubble where this feels like this is like life or death. But like when we leave this school, we're just kids trying to grow up and live our lives, have these teenager experiences. And so my sister, you know, though we bump heads a lot because we're so different, she is kind of like my balance. I think I offer her some balance as well, as someone who can be a little more serious and calm. And she's my balance as someone who's very energetic and out there. So I've really appreciated how we were able to balance each other as kids, and we still do it now as, you know, I'm a teenager, she's an adult. And I don't think I'd be the same person without my sister pushing me to get out there and have fun.
Yeah. Do you think that complementing relationship, despite you being opposites, has really pushed you guys closer together than maybe if you were more similar?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think also, especially because me being so different, like brought me to boarding school. It brought me 6 hours away from home. That's something that not a lot of siblings experience, where they're apart for such a long period of time. I left home when I was 14. My drive for academics and for school brought me to Exeter, and that kept us apart for some time. When I go home, we value that time so much more, and we're able to forget that sometimes we do bump heads and come together and have fun. I mean, my sister and I, we're opposites, so we do have similar interests. You know, we love movies, going to concerts, we like spending time together, going outside, going to the beach. And so, you know, we have a lot of fun together, and it's great when we kind of have more serious conversations because she offers her perspectives, I offer mine, and ultimately we get some pretty good ideas flowing because we're so different. You have to have a good balance between what you're talking about.
You just mentioned that the big drive that led you to Exeter was a drive for academics and everything that comes with this place. But I'm curious, was it a family member? Was it a friend? Was it a teacher? Like, what really opened your eyes of what Exeter even is in the first place?
Great question. I went to a school called Patterson Academy, and a lot of my friends there went to boarding schools. It wasn't super common, but people that I had known had gone off to like Andover, Milton, other boarding schools kind of on the East Coast. No one had gone to Exeter yet. And so me and Mohammed, who I mentioned earlier, both applied to boarding schools together, and Exeter was the only school we had in common. So we both had very different lists when it came to what schools we were looking at, and Exeter was the one place we had in common. So I think we never really said it out loud. It was kind of like an internal acknowledgement, but we really wanted to go to school together. It was a thing where we really wanted what was best for each other, but it would have been so much fun to come to school together, and that's what happened. We went through our middle school experiences together, we graduated together, and then we came into our prep year together. And even though he doesn't go here anymore, he's still one of my biggest supporters. He's always been someone that pushed me and encourages me to get out there, kind of like my sister. I think that's why we got so close so fast. And yeah, the support from my teachers and people that came before me was a big motivator for me to go to boarding school. But to actually come to Exeter, that was me and Mohammed and how we really wanted each other to succeed and be there to witness each other do it.
I'm curious, has there been a moment since you've been at Exeter where despite all the change and being away from your home and family, was there a moment where you really felt this is the place, this is where I belong?
Definitely meeting people and connecting with friends. Coming to Exeter was hard academically, but also because we all come from very different backgrounds. In my home community, like I mentioned, we're from diverse areas or other places of the world, but we were able to connect through that experience of coming together. At Exeter, it was similar because we knew we were different, but there were still moments where I was a bit unsure because where would I exactly fit in? I think a big part of why I felt so comfortable at Exeter was because of the non-Sibi motto. Community service has been a big part of my life growing up. I started volunteering when I was super young, probably like 8 years old at my local church. I mean, it's always been a big part of who I am. When I started being a tour guide or participating in ESO, that was a way for me to get into this community that I didn't know anything about. I came from a big city and suddenly I was in a small town in New England and I didn't know how to fit into this community. ESO and non-Sibi gave me a way to insert myself in this area. So I started out with volunteering at Lincoln Street School and reading to some little kids. And then that also meant writing letters to a pen pal at Lincoln Street School. Being a tour guide meant connecting with people from different parts of the world who were coming just to visit Exeter. I got to share with them how impactful my experience had been and how non-Sibi was really at the core of who I am. I think my background in community service and being grateful for the people that lifted me up and got me to where I am, and then wanting to turn around and also help somebody else. So it really was about non-Sibi at the end of the day, because schools like to preach service to others, but I think Exeter is a place where it really does matter and people really do care about non-Sibi.
What's something you're passionate about right now that others might find surprising, Dani?
Okay, well, this is like silly, but I really like horror movies. I mean, obviously I like rom-coms and dramas and stuff like that, but I think horror movies have been something that I've just really come to enjoy recently. I was a huge scaredy cat as a kid. I did not like the dark. I did not like being out alone. I hated it, especially because I came from such a big family. Like, we were always together. So there was never really a reason for me to be scared. But then maybe like turning the lights off before I went to bed, I hated it. I was terrified. And then as I grew older, I kind of started getting over it. And then suddenly I loved horror movies. I think mainly because it's really fun to watch them with your friends, because you get to freak out together and like, oh my God, who's the villain? Trying to find things out. And it's ultimately funny because you remember these are actors just freaking out for no reason. It's really fun to watch horror movies with my friends and connect in that way. There are still some movies that I won't watch because I think I will get scared. But I like older horror movies from the 90s. I think those have been pretty fun to watch. And I love rewatching them too.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's that thrill with your friends where you're all experiencing it together, so it's like it's
no
so
yeah
fun.
It's so much fun, especially like when you all scream together. I'm the person that will wait until it's like super quiet and like the main character's walking, and then I'll scream, and then my friends will freak out because they think something happened. I can be a little bit mean when it comes to horror movies. There's one time I banged on the door while my friends were watching the movie. I told them I was at the bathroom, but I was actually hiding at the front door. I think it's fun, and I feel like my friends enjoy it too.
If I'm with a group, a horror movie can be fun, but it's not something I'm gonna watch on my own. Dani, what's an achievement you're proud of, big or small?
Okay. I think being at Exeter, like the way we describe achievement has been pretty interesting. If you think of like when you were in middle school and like elementary school, an achievement could be like you get a star for like doing your work. I feel like when we got to Exeter, all of us have experienced new relationships with the word like success, achievement, accomplishment. There's crazy things that it feels so major at Exeter, but what I've really gotten to focus on is the little things. I'm someone who used to be really fazed by little things going wrong in my day. So, maybe I got to class like at 8:01 and that would freak me out. And I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be a bad day. Little things would throw me off and I just did not like it. Ultimately, that led to me just having some pretty stressful feelings. I would end my day and I'm like, oh no, like it was not good. But now looking back, it's like, no, that was a good day. There are bumps in the road, but I think days are what you make of them. My achievement has been shifting my mindset and being able to see a bigger picture with a positive outlook. If you can reflect on your day and say that you made someone smile or that you helped someone or maybe someone even helped you, I think that's a win. We should count those little wins and reflect on all of them. Suddenly you look back and it's like, wow, that was an amazing day. And there might be days where they're not as frequent, a lot smaller, but you have to take them and use that to push you into the next day and so you can achieve more and accomplish more.
What do you think went into developing that perspective of being less critical of these little mistakes?
I think definitely being a prep and a lower was super stressful. I was still getting my footing at Exeter. I was trying to figure out how I could succeed here because I'd seen so many amazing uppers and seniors doing great things and they seemed super chill about it. Like it was not a big thing to them to just go to a full day of classes, get all their homework done, go to clubs and socialize. But I was super overwhelmed by it. It's like, how am I going to get all those things done and still eat, sleep, and call my family? Being an upper made me realize that we don't have to be having all these huge successes every single day. I think it's about little things that push us forward to the next day. And, especially I've had amazing time this year making a lot of friends and connecting with a lot of preps in my dorm. So there's this prep named Izzy in my dorm who I'm very close with. She goes to LAL and she's the best. I mean, she's super great. And I think that being friends with her, she's taught me a lot about looking into our lives with joy and just laughing at everything if we can. And so obviously, I'm older than her, but she's kind of been a role model for me to just remember to keep laughing. It's like laugh until your stomach hurts because that's what you're going to remember about your high school experiences. And I also just want to be someone that preps and lowers can look at and say, yeah, maybe she had a bad day, but she still went and took that bad day and looked at the good things that came out of it. I'm trying to be someone that the preps and lowers can look to and not feel like they have to be perfect with. Someone that has made mistakes, had struggles, but can move past it and look forward to the next day.
Especially as someone who was that prep and lower, who had all these fears and worries about day-to-day life, and now you've developed into an upperclassman, a role model to a lot, which is great. We have one last question. It's been a great conversation. I remember you told me that a question people don't ask you too much about is who your friends are and what they're like. So what do your friends bring out in others that we might not see?
I wish people asked me more about my friends because I'm a huge believer that who you surround yourself with plays a big role in who you are. And I'm a really lucky person that I surround myself by a lot of super sweet, cool, intelligent, and accomplished people. Obviously being at Exeter, but also in my previous school and at my home, I'm surrounded by people who have so much joy and passion for their lives. I think I'm just super lucky to be surrounded by all of them, and ultimately they push me to do bigger things. I've mentioned Mohammed, I've mentioned Izzy, I've mentioned my sister. All of the things that they bring to the lunch table or the hangout with friends, they stick with you. It's really great how all my friends around me have given me little bits of themselves that I can hold with me. I think that I've become a better person because of who I'm friends with. And I hope that people remember that if you are friends with somebody, you're probably making their lives better in some way.
This has been a great conversation. You've had so many little pieces of telling us about your background, how you've grown from that, the struggles you've faced, and we've learned a lot about who you are today. I want to thank you for this. And episode 3 with Dani Mendez.
Yay.
What a great conversation. Thank you, everyone. Make sure to check out the next one, too.
Watch it.